So guys, did you look at those amazing shots? The amazing thing about it is that it is captured by just one camera. Yes, it was panning around, it was moving, but it was one camera, a 360-degree camera. It's crazy camera. I'm talking about Insta 360 One X that I got last week, and I have been using it since then. And I thought I'll do a video telling you more about it. Let's get started. So if you're not sure about what 360 camera is, it is a camera that can record in all directions. I mean, normal cameras like this camera can record in a certain frame, a 90 degree or 120 degree, whatever the lens you're using, whatever the view of field it has. But a 360 camera can capture throughout. And if I talk about Insta 360 One X, here it is. It has got two lenses, are super ultra wide lenses. So both the lenses cover 175 or 176 177 degrees roughly, and the footage is stitched inside the camera to create a 360 video. So Insta 360 is actually a company which creates 360 cameras. It already had a lot of products, but this one is their first consumer end product that normal people like me and you can buy. And this was launched in 2018. Then they improved this model and relaunched a new version, Insta 360 One X, in 2019, and I got it in 2020. But it's not too late because the trend is just getting started. And not so the video that I showed you at the beginning of this video, I showed it to other people also, and people were like, what who was recording that? I got that kind of reaction from other people, and 2 out of 20 people have messaged me that is it a 360 camera, and all the 18 people were like they have no idea whether it was a single camera or whether there was anyone else who was recording it. So 360 cameras have been around from quite a while. In fact, YouTube also said at one point that they are going to prioritize 360 or VR content. They mentioned somewhere, I watched that video, that they will be prioritizing that kind of content, but I am not sure what their stand is right now, because I have observed that not a lot of people are into 360 videos and probably don't have any idea that 360 videos on YouTube even exist. So if not everyone is watching 360 videos, then what's the point of getting 360 camera? Well, there are two ways you can use 360 camera. One is to obviously record 360 degree of environment and put it on YouTube. Yeah, editing 360 videos is a bit tricky, but you can get that. But as I said, that not everyone is into 360 videos. So the other use is that it can record 360 video, but you can reframe it. What it means is that you can choose the frame that you want to keep in your normal videos. You can create a normal video out of this, and since it is capturing in all directions, you have the liberty to pick which frame you want to keep in your video. And that's a great thing for a filmmaker, for a videographer, for a vlogger, anyone who is a one-man army, who works alone and who has to keep the camera in their hands or somewhere. So they have to spend a lot of time in framing, but sometimes the action happens outside of the frame. So if you have 360 camera, it captures from everywhere in all directions. So when you are at your editing desk, you can pick the frame that you want to keep in your flat video. And that is the point of this 360 camera. I mean, people are doing a lot of crazy stuff. I have seen it on Instagram and YouTube. There are crazy kind of videos that you can create out of this, and it is replacing action cameras actually, because when you're doing some kind of action and you have action cameras, most of them don't have any kind of display. Even this one doesn't have any display. It has got one single colorless LED LCD thing, and there are two buttons to navigate through different settings. So but you can connect it with your smartphone and then pick the settings you want easily, and you can also take a look at what this camera is actually looking at, which is looking everywhere. So you can select and you can kind of do a lot of things when you're connected to your smartphone. So now let's talk about what's in the box. So I got it from Amazon India, and there are different packages, like you can get this camera only, or you can get the bundle where you get the invisible selfie stick, because and you would be needing some kind of selfie stick, because if you hold it the camera like this and record videos, then you're going to see your hand and it is the closest thing that the camera which will capture, and you will end up getting a weird footage. So it is recommended that you get a selfie stick. You can buy it separately or you can get a bundle, and it's called invisible selfie stick. It looks like this and it can extend this much. I think it's more than 1 meter. They call it invisible selfie stick because it does not show in the footage, and that is the crazy part of this camera, because when you're extending the selfie stick far away, and you're keeping the camera far away, and you're walking, and the selfie stick is not visible, it feels like that someone else is holding the camera and is capturing you, and you can get some crazy shots. And along with that package, I also got this thing. You can again attach it to the selfie stick, extend the selfie stick and attach the camera there, and then you can swing it around. So when you swing it around, they have got a feature called bullet time, the one that you might have seen in Matrix, that captures from everywhere, so you get a cool effect. And apart from this, it also has a table stand. So if you attach it to the selfie stick, you kind of get a monopod also, which can stand anywhere, on top or on a flat surface. So it is a multi-purpose thing, and I got them as a package. And a few other things that were in the box were this pouch, where you can keep this camera safe. Look at the design of this camera. Both the lenses are exposed, so you cannot put this camera down on desk just like that, because the lens will be damaged. So you have to be careful, and you have to keep it in this pouch every time you're not using the camera. This is the pouch that you get in the box. Along with that, you also get a data cable that you can use to connect the camera to laptop. You also get a micro SD card, 64 GB micro SD card in the package, and I'll link the package, the one that I bought from Amazon. I'll link that in the description of this video. And if you're not taking the bundle, you have to be extra careful while purchasing a micro SD, because it requires a special kind of micro SD which has a faster writing speed. This camera can actually capture 5.7K footage, so which turns out to be around 800 to 1 GB per minute of video. So that requires a faster micro SD card to write all that data into the micro SD card. So the one that I got is U30 from SanDisk, and people were also recommending V30, so make sure you get V30 or U30. So that was it in the box. So apart from the micro SD card, you also get a battery which is removable. So you can also buy other batteries, because it's 1000 mAh, and in my experience I was able to shoot approximately 40 minutes, but it lasted me the whole session of recording a video, making the video, because I'm not using it throughout the 40 minutes. I'm stopping and connecting and checking the footage on my mobile phone. So now, talking about video quality and resolution, as I told you that this camera can capture 5.7K footage, which is higher than 4K. But don't get excited, because the 4K on flat cameras is a different thing, and 5.7K on this camera is a different thing, because it captures in all directions. So it is capturing 360-degree view in 5.7K, and the regular cameras capture 90-degree view in 4K. So if you're making flat videos out of the 360 video footage you will have to select 90 degrees out of the 360 degree. So you will have to divide the 5.7K footage by 4 to get the actual resolution, and it will be somewhere around Full HD, which is not bad, but it is definitely not 4K. So if you're thinking that you are getting 5.7K footage, that is not how it works. I hope this makes it clear. Now, talking about video quality is good if you are shooting in daylight, and if you have enough light, like every other action camera or every other small camera that has got small sensors. It will not perform great in low light conditions. In night time, you will see some kind of blurriness in your videos, some kind of graininess in your videos, some kind of shakiness in your videos that I have experienced while shooting with this camera in the evening when the sun was down. So it can be a great replacement for your current action camera because of two main reasons. One is that if you do not frame your shot properly on action camera. Even though action cameras have got wide angles lenses, they cover everything, but shit can happen to anyone. So your normal action camera would be looking at one direction, that may be 120-degree of view, and maybe you want to capture something else, but if you are in the middle of the action, you won't be able to change the position of the camera. That is where this 360 camera can be helpful, because it is recording in all directions, so you can be on the editing table and select the view that you want to use in the footage. So it makes an extremely exciting and unique video for action oriented people, for moto vloggers, for people who are into snowboarding and stuff like that, even for cycling people. I am a cyclist, so I do a lot of cycling around the city, so I see myself using this camera a lot. I can do a lot of things without actually moving the camera around. I can capture everything, and then on the editing table I can select what I want to show the people. And the stabilization on this camera is amazing. I mean, I am walking carelessly, not thinking about jerks and all, and they were kind of jerks, like I'm on a bicycle and it vibrates a lot, but you cannot see any jerk in the video, in the final video. And even on the bike, my bike vibrates a lot, and I was very skeptical whether the footage would come out okay, whether would it be usable or not, but it came out really well. So the stabilization, and Insta360 calls it flow state. You don't have to worry whether the stabilization feature is on or off. You can do that in post while editing the footage. So I think it is pretty amazing as an action camera. So I'm here in the park, local park, to record some videos. I have been using this Insta360 camera, 1x camera from last few weeks, and I was very excited initially. I tried all the tutorials that were available in the app, the Tiny Planet, the Instacellular kind of video, every kind of video that was available. Any kind of creative video that you could create, I tried everything, and I posted it on my Instagram. You can check it out. I will put the link in the description, so you can go ahead and check it out, what this amazing camera can do. Back in the studio. Can this be your primary camera? It can definitely not be your primary camera, and I wouldn't recommend that either, because of two main reasons. One, it is for specific purposes, like if you have to do this kind of video in a room, in a studio room, so you won't require a 360 camera. You can simply frame yourself and ask somebody else to frame you and then record the video. This is especially meant for outdoors and for vloggers, maybe for solo travelers who would want to add an additional clip of themselves doing something, or a third person perspective into their videos to make it look good. But shooting the entire video on this wouldn't be recommended because of the video quality. It does not perform well in low light. And the other thing about is the workflow, which is a little tricky, little tedious. So while I was researching whether to buy this camera or not, I came across a lot of videos, and a lot of people were complaining about the tough workflow it has. It is not like you get the footage and you put it in your favorite video editor and you edit the video. The process is pretty tedious. There are two ways to edit videos. One is to connect the camera with your smartphone and install the smartphone app for this. Thankfully, Insta360 has a page from where you can get the links to download the app for iPhone as well as Android. And they also have got studio apps for Mac and Windows. So you are covered. Now, the fastest way to get your footage and edit it is on your mobile, and the mobile app for Insta360 1X is pretty nice. You get all the editing features. You can reframe, whatever. You can choose the framing, you can choose the speed, you can add music, you can select the ending point and the starting point of the video. Everything is good, but it takes a little bit of time to download the videos to your smartphone, and you need to make sure that you have the powerful smartphone, either iPhone, the latest versions of iPhone, or an Android smartphone with Snapdragon 855 or so. And they should also have a good amount of storage space, because like I said, that 1 minute of footage is approximately 1 GB of file. So make sure you have a lot of space on your mobile phone. And even if you have a lot of space on your mobile phone, you will have to download each and every footage to your mobile phone if you want to edit. You can, if you want to look at it, you can simply connect your camera to your mobile phone and look at the footage, browse it. But if you want to make edits, you have to download all the footage to your mobile phone. The first day I got this camera, I took it to my gym and I recorded my session, and I ended up with 27 files that were 14 GB in size, and it took me around 3 hours inside the app to edit a 5-minute clip, 5-minute vlog, and another 1 hour in KineMaster app, which is a video editing app. So it took me 3 hours to edit all the footage from the Insta360 One X and put it in KineMaster. If I would have recorded those footage from my mobile camera, I simply would have added the file in KineMaster app and have edited the entire thing in 1 hour like I did with this one. So the workflow is definitely time consuming, and especially the exporting, because it does not have got batch exporting feature. So when you edit a video, you will have to export it, then you have to wait till it gets exported so that you can continue working on the next one. Or you can edit all those videos and then export them one by one, but you will have to wait for one export to finish, then to start the next export. So there is no batch exporting. So you kind of have to wait for the export, and it is a waste of time. If it was a batch processing, I might have saved 2 hours of my time, because most of the time took in exporting. I had to wait for it, and it was not good experience. But still, if you have got small clips like 1 minute or 2 minute clips, it's okay. It's definitely okay to use the smartphone app instead of using the PC. Now, talking about the editing workflow on computer, the video files, the format used by Insta360 is .insv. INSV is for video and INSP is for 360 photos. And it is not readable by Final Cut Pro, nor it is readable by Adobe Premiere Pro. But thankfully, Insta360 gives you an app that you can download, and it also has got a plugin for Adobe Premiere Pro. So when you install the Studio app on your computer, I installed it on my Mac, and I also had Premiere Pro. So the plugin also gets installed automatically, and you will be able to drag and drop your video footage directly into Premiere Pro. Sadly, it was not great experience for me. Even my 2019 MacBook Pro, which is strong enough, powerful enough, was not able to play 5.7K footage in Adobe Premiere Pro. It is not optimized well enough. So I couldn't use Adobe Premiere Pro. Neither I could use Final Cut Pro, which is my primary choice of editing videos. But there is no plugin available for Final Cut Pro. What you can do is convert the INSV files into MP4 files and then use them in Final Cut Pro. Now, coming to converting INSV files into MP4, you will have to convert them as it is. Thankfully, Studio app has got the feature where you can drag and drop all the files and select batch processing, and it will export all the files and convert them MP4. The Final Cut Pro supports 360 footage, and you can do reframing and all the stuff like that. It is a little tricky, but you can get the job done. If you want, I can make videos about it also. Let me know in the comments. Now, thankfully, in Insta360 Studio app, you can also create flat videos by selecting your frame, selecting the starting point, the ending point of the video, selecting the speed and all the stuff that you can do on your mobile phone, and then export them into MP4 files, which you can later add into your Final Cut Pro and continue with your project if you are adding 360 footage into your normal videos. Or even if you want to create flat videos out of the 360 footage, you can do that. This is the easiest workflow to use Insta360 app on desktop and get the MP4 files, which you can edit them in Final Cut Pro or any other video editing. And that footage will work in Adobe Premiere Pro as well, because it will be full HD footage, and the full HD footage has no issues playing in Adobe Premiere Pro. Playing in normal computer is not powerful enough like mine MacBook. And the reason I'm saying that this is the easiest and this is the fastest workflow is because you don't have to download the footage like you have to do it on your mobile phone. You can connect your camera to the PC directly. There is a data cable in the box which is provided, and you can use that. You might have to use a dongle if you are using the latest version of Macs, which have got only USB Type-C. I have got a dongle, so you can connect it directly, and then you can drag and drop all the footage into the Studio app, so you don't have to move the files, and then you can work on them and then export. And there is a batch export, like you can export one video, then continue working on other video, and then export it, and then continue working on other video. So it saves a lot of your time, which is pretty time consuming on mobile. Now we are at the end of this video, and I want to tell you whether you should buy this camera or not, and who this camera is for. So this camera is great for people who already are into filmmaking, video making, YouTubers, solo travelers. You can benefit extremely. You can get third-person perspective, which is tough to get if you are a solo creator. So this camera is not for people who are looking to get started, who don't have any camera, they want it to be their first camera. I wouldn't recommend that. Even if you are into sports activities, if you want to get an action camera, then get a regular action camera, get those regular GoPros or any other action camera, because this is a little delicate and this requires a bit of extra care. So I would recommend you use the normal cameras and be efficient in it, learn some things, learn how to organize footage, and then think of getting this camera. Otherwise this is of no use. And you also need to have a high-end smartphone as well if you want to use your mobile phone to edit, or if you want to edit on your PC, you need to have a high-end PC as well, because 5.7K footage is quite big, and here your computer is going to struggle if it is not powerful enough. Anyways, I will put the product link in the description of video in case you are interested, and you can also ask me any question related to 360 cameras or any other tech in the comment section. I will try to answer them, and if it is video worthy, maybe I will create a video as well. And one more thing, I am using this camera to create some creative videos that I post on Instagram. So if you are interested in checking that out as well, you can follow me on Instagram. Link will be in the description, or maybe it will be displayed somewhere here. It's your wish, you want to follow me or not, but I would appreciate if you do. So this was the video about the Insta360 One X, this little camera that I have, and I can talk so much about it, but I'm not sure whether you want to listen to it or not. So let me know in the comments. If you have any questions about it, I shall make another video and try to answer all those questions. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. So this was it. I hope you liked it. You can subscribe to the channel for more tech related stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, take care.